Hi there. Thanks for tuning in to Project Management Illustrated. Today we continue unpacking the fifth edition of PMI's standard for program management. So whether you are new to program governance or refining your knowledge, this video will help you refresh your information to connect theory to practice. Today we pick up the conversation where we left off with the governance framework performance domain. Last time, we looked closely at the practices that shape how governance works in programs. Now, we're turning the spotlight on the roles involved in governance framework. Some of this might feel like déjà vu, as we did touch on these roles when talking about stakeholder engagement performance domain. However, this time we are looking at them through a different lens, the governance lens. So pretty much same players, but new perspectives. Before jumping into governance framework roles, let's clarify a few points. We agree that value-driven systems and or organizations have several different programs to serve the organization's strategy. To make sure programs succeed and deliver the benefits the organization wants, it's essential for the people involved in the governance framework and program management to work well together. If we take a few steps back, we can remind ourselves that based on the program charter, program managers were given responsibility and accountability to manage programs effectively and help achieve the organization's goals. This authority is granted by the Program Steering Committee. We can safely assume a strong working relationship between the Program Steering Committee and program managers as a key to the organization's overall success. Program managers depend on the Program Steering Committee to create the right conditions in the organization so programs can run without difficulties. Program Steering Committee also helps sort out problems when a program's needs clash with other programs, projects, or day-to-day operations. Please note that the Program Steering Committee can be also called the Program Governance Board, Oversight Committee, or Board of Directors. When we talk about governance framework, be mindful that there is a big room for tailoring. The governance framework should be designed to fit the specific needs of the organization and the program. A good governance framework model takes into account both the program itself and the environment in which it operates. Part of the tailoring inside any organization is the definition of key governance roles. In other words, the connection between the governance framework and program management is usually handled by giving important roles to people involved in these areas. These individuals are seen as key stakeholders. Every program and organization set up its governance framework in its own way with different people and roles, but there are some roles that most programs use often. These roles are program sponsor, program steering committee, program manager, program management office or PMO, project manager, and other stakeholders such as portfolio manager, product manager, operational managers, and others. Let's start with the first key governance role, program sponsor. Program sponsor can be an individual or group that provides resources and support to the program. They are accountable for enabling program success. Program sponsor common characteristics can be an executive member of the program steering committee or the organization as a whole, has a role in directing the organization's investment decisions, personally vested in the success of related organizational programs, serves as the chairperson of the program steering committee, assigns and oversees the progress of the program manager. PMI reminds us that the role of a program sponsor is crucial and must be carefully chosen and supported by the organization. To succeed, program sponsors need the time, resources, and freedom from other duties to focus on the job. When selecting a program sponsor, it's important to consider their leadership caliber, relevant experience, and availability to commit fully to the role. The sponsor may need to lead change across the organization, manage both positive and negative outcomes, and play a central role in communication and stakeholder engagement. These factors can significantly influence whether a program is perceived as successful or not. Accordingly, program sponsor attributes can be leadership, effective communication skills, decision making authority, ability to influence stakeholders, and ability to work across different stakeholder groups to find mutually beneficial solutions. As we defined who program sponsor can be, let's talk about their responsibilities. What a program sponsor typically does: chairs the program steering committee, secures program funding, and makes sure that the program's objectives align with the organization's strategic vision and goals, makes key decisions for managing the program. Please note that these decisions are program related. In other words, decisions outside of the program's scope may require other authorities rather than the program sponsor. Supports program team in delivering program benefits. Clears roadblocks so the program can move forward smoothly. The second key role in the governance framework performance domain is the program steering committee. We have been talking a lot about it since we started together these videos. Program steering committee is established to support the program within its defined authority. This support is delivered through governance practices, including the provision of guidance, endorsements, and approvals. Accordingly, these committees are responsible for defining and implementing governance practices, providing strategic guidance, endorsements, and approvals to ensure alignment with the organizational goals. Program Steering Committee is a group of participants representing diverse program-related interests. Members are typically executives from different organizational units that contribute to the program's components and operations. Thus, Program Steering Committee members are not fixed for different programs under different portfolios within the organizations. Members are selected for their organizational insight, decision-making authority, technical expertise, functional responsibilities, and ability to represent key stakeholder groups. As we mentioned in the previous slide, the program sponsor serves as the chair of the program steering committee in certain cases. Careful attention must be given to the selection process of the program steering committee members. When program steering committee is staffed appropriately, it enhances the program's ability to address emerging issues, ensures informed decision making, and fosters an environment of cohesive policies, operational clarity, and strategic oversight aligned with the governance framework performance domain. Establishing a single program steering committee that oversees all critical aspects of program governance is generally the most efficient way to ensure effective and adaptive oversight. However, some programs may need to report to multiple program steering committees. This can occur in programs jointly sponsored by private and government organizations, or programs managed through collaboration among competing private organizations, or in highly complex environments where the necessary subject matter experts cannot be brought together into one committee. If we take an example of a national cybersecurity initiative involving federal agencies, private tech firms, and academic institutions, these may require multiple steering committees to reflect the distinct governance structures of each stakeholder group. Generally, in such cases, it's essential that the governance framework and decision-making authority are clearly defined in the program governance plan to ensure clarity, coordination, and accountability. On the other hand, when dealing with the small organizations, a single senior executive may assume the responsibilities of a program oversight committee, and that's it. When it comes to the responsibilities of the program steering committee, these can be summoned as provide governance support for the program, including oversight, control integration, and decision-making activities. Provide capable governance resources to manage and monitor program uncertainty and complexity in relation to benefits delivery. Offer guidance aligned with organizational strategy. Confirm that program goals and intended benefits are aligned with the organization's strategic and operational objectives. Endorse or approve program-related recommendations and proposed changes. Address all selected program risks and issues. Oversee and track the planning, measurement, and realization of program benefits. Lead the process of making, communicating, enforcing, and executing decisions. Develop key stakeholder messages and ensuring they are delivered with consistency and transparency. Review expected benefits and the delivery of these benefits. And finally, approve program closure or termination. Next, let's talk about you, the program manager. The program manager is in any organization is the person authorized by the performing organization to lead the team or teams responsible for achieving program objectives. When it comes to the governance framework performance domain, the program manager continuously interacts with the program steering committee and the sponsor and manages the program to ensure delivery of its intended benefits. Please note that the program manager's authority has defined limits. If a decision is beyond this agreed authority, the program manager must get permission from the program steering committee first. The amount of authority given to the program team can depend on several things, such as the program manager's experience, how big and complex the program is, and how much coordination is needed to manage the program within the bigger organization. So, how are programs delivered? Program goals are achieved and benefits are realized through the approval and start of components. Components are authorized under parent program, similar in principle to how the program steering committee authorizes the parent program itself. Because of this, programs act much like a governance board. Program managers and their teams can also take on governance responsibilities for part of a program. This is called component governance. In this role, program managers set up the framework, functions, and processes to monitor and manage their program's components. The level of independence program managers have in overseeing their components and the support they get from parent programs can vary depending on the organization. It can also differ between programs within the same organization, depending on the program management office, the sponsor, or what the organization's governance documents say. Some organizations choose to govern components using the same governance framework as the parent program. Others let the parent program independently handle governance for its components. In such a case, the program manager may be responsible for creating the governance framework to manage the components within the parent program. So when it comes to program managers' responsibilities, the core responsibility continues to be making sure the program's goals and objectives stay aligned with the organization's overall strategic objectives. How many times have we said that, huh? Program managers' governance related responsibilities usually include review the governance framework, such as the organizational structure, policies, and procedures, and sometimes setting up the governance framework itself, as we just covered. Make sure the program adheres to and follows governance policies and processes. Handle communications and coordination between the program steering committee, sponsors, and managing components interdependencies or how different parts of the program depend on each other. Watch over program risks, performance, synergies, and how different parts work together, and of course, communications. Deal with program risks and issues and escalating critical or major risks and or issues that program manager can't control on their own to the program steering committee. Keep track of and report on the program's funding and overall status. Evaluate program outcomes and ask the program steering committee for approval before changing program strategies. Create, follow up, and share the program management plan and its important internal and external dependencies and connections. Manage and monitor how well the program delivers its expected benefits. Manage, support, and coach the project managers and other managers who are part of the program. The fourth governance role we have today is the Program Management Office, PMO. The Program Management Office plays a central role in supporting and enabling governance practices across a program. It acts as a formal management structure that helps standardize how governance is applied, ensuring consistency in processes, tools, and decision making. The PMO facilitates the sharing of resources, methodologies, tools, and techniques across the program, which helps different teams work more efficiently and in alignment with governance expectations. In addition to that, the PMO offers professional expertise through highly trained staff in applying governance framework practices. These individuals contribute to program oversight, support, and decision making, and may also be responsible for monitoring compliance with program management standards and practices. This ensures that the program operates within agreed parameters and maintains accountability throughout its life cycle. The design of a PMO is not one size fits all. It's tailored to the specific environment and needs of the organization. For example, organizations managing very large, complex, or high risk programs may establish multiple PMOs, each dedicated to overseeing one or more critical programs. These variations can include an Enterprise Project Management Office, EPMO, which may exist within both the performing organization and the customer organization, or more specialized structure such as a Strategic Enterprise Project Management Office, SEPMO, or a Transformation Office, TO, which focus on strategic alignment or organizational change. In organizations that run multiple programs simultaneously, a PMO is often created as a formal center of excellence, COE. This type of PMO ensures a high level of professionalism and consistency in how programs are governed and managed across the portfolio. It serves as a centralized hub for governance practices, supporting a range of programs with shared expertise and resources. For any individual program, the PMO may be newly established or may leverage an existing function within the organization. Depending on the program's scope and complexity, specialists with targeted skills such as change management or benefits management can be assigned to the PMO to support specific needs. In some cases, the responsibilities typically handled by PMO may be delegated to a single manager who possesses deep expertise in program management and governance practices. Alternatively, these responsibilities may be assigned directly to the program managers overseeing the organization's programs, depending on the structure and maturity of the organization. As you can see, there is significant scope for tailoring when establishing the organization's PMO, depending on various factors such as the number of ongoing programs, their complexity and interdependencies, enterprise environmental factors, resource maturity and expertise, among others. Now let's move to the next governance role we have today, project manager. The project manager is the person chosen by the performing organization to lead the team responsible for achieving the project objective, whether it is a product, service, or result. When it comes to governance, this role involves working with the program manager and program sponsor and making sure the project's objective is successfully delivered. Project managers' responsibilities include effective planning, executing, and tracking of a program's component project and delivery of the project's outcomes as defined in the approved project charter and the program management plan. While performing the role, the project manager is overseen through component governance by the program manager, who acts like the program steering committee, and by the program team. The usual governance-related duties of a project manager include manage project activities and communications with the other governance role holders, including the program manager, program steering committee, and sponsor. Ensure the project follows governance policies and procedures. Monitor and manage project performance and communications. manage project risks and issues while escalating critical ones that are beyond the project manager's control to the program manager, sponsor, or program steering committee. Manage both internal and external dependencies affecting the project. Finally, promote active involvement and support from key stakeholders. The last role we have for today is for other stakeholders involved with the program. These can be the portfolio manager. They may have a program governance role at different times, such as when making sure that a program is selected or prioritized, or when allocating resources to a program to meet the organization's plan for realizing planned benefits. Functional representatives and product owners have a role in making sure the program's direction matches the end customer's needs. This is an important role as these needs usually change over time. While we were covering the benefits management performance domain, we said that when a program provides a capability to the organization, its planned benefits can only be realized if the organization is ready to integrate that capability in its operation. Here comes operational managers into the picture. Operational manager is usually responsible for receiving and integrating the capabilities delivered by other components of the program to achieve the organization's goals. This integration process may cause some initial disruption, but will eventually create a new stable situation different from the original environment. Therefore, it's important that the capability is integrated effectively for the organization and the program to succeed. Accordingly, we often see operational managers are supported by a group of people assigned to manage this change. These people can include the program sponsor, business teams receiving program benefits, program manager, project manager, and often a change manager or a change specialist. The bottom line is we usually find operational managers have a team from the related business area to support them. We still can find other governance roles within a program, such as risk specialists, who are experts focus on identifying and managing risks that could affect the program or organization. They ensure that risks are properly identified, assessed, and managed to protect the program's objectives and outcomes. Buyers. These are people responsible for purchasing goods or services needed by the organization or the program. Their role is ensuring procurement processes follow governance rules, enabling a transparent and compliant acquisition of resources. Contracting experts are specialists who create and manage contracts and agreements with external vendors, third parties, or suppliers. They develop and govern contracts with third-party vendors to ensure terms are clear and fair, while associated risks are under control. Human capital are professionals who handle employee-related matters like staffing, training, and workforce planning. Their role is to oversee workforce readiness and capability to support program delivery and ensure that people-related risks are managed. The list goes on depending on the complexity of the program and the organization. As we are now done with the governance framework roles, let's talk about something that can have a more overarching nature. That is governance framework design and implementation. The ultimate purpose of establishing a governance framework is to enable the sponsor organization to implement governance practices that ensure continuous monitoring of how well the program supports the overall organizational strategy. It also ensures that strategic alignment is optimized and that the effective governance of the program's planned benefits are delivered as expected. Governance practices provide the foundation for ensuring that decisions are made rationally and with appropriate justification, and that responsibilities and accountabilities are clearly defined and applied. Governance participants confirm that all stakeholders are appropriately engaged and that supportive tools and processes are both defined and effectively leveraged. These activities are conducted in accordance with the policies and standards of the host and partner organizations, with compliance confirmed through ongoing measurement. A governance framework should start with identifying governance participants and establishing governance practices. It must comply with all applicable laws, whether local, state, or national, concerning competition, conflicts of interests, and procurement procedures. Additionally, it is essential to define clear expectations for how governance related roles are assigned and how these responsibilities are carried out. Accordingly, it's expected to find a variance in governance practices depending on the sector or industry of the organization. For example, governance of programs in diverse fields such as national or local government, aerospace and defense, banking and finance, and pharmaceutical development may have significantly different needs shaped by the unique political, regulatory, legal, technical, and competitive environment in which they operate. At this point, we may agree that the design of the governance framework can significantly influence the success of the program. When poorly designed, governance may cause more problems than having no governance at all, as it can create a false sense of alignment, progress, and success. Therefore, many factors must be considered when designing the program governance rules and framework. So, the most common factors to consider when optimizing and tailoring the governance framework include legislative environment. Programs significantly influenced by changing legislation may benefit from governance designed to enable direct interaction with legislative authorities, while in other cases, this interaction is managed by elements of corporate governance acting on behalf of the program. Decision making hierarchy. Decision making should happen where people have the right skills, authority, and accountability. Sometimes, when employees don't feel responsible for their actions, more controls are needed to keep things on track. On the other hand, experienced and trusted program managers and teams may get more freedom to make decisions. This autonomy allows them to learn from both their successes and failures, helping them grow and improve over time. The first approach offers tighter control but can limit flexibility, while the second encourages innovation but requires trust in the team's judgment. Optimized governance. The governance framework should be optimized and as streamlined as possible while still capable of performing all necessary domain practices. This approach promotes role clarity, ensures effective and focused organizational support, and eventually enables faster and more efficient decision making, endorsements, and approvals. Please consider that the governance framework should not duplicate any program management activities. Program delivery. A program that delivers benefits regularly may need a different level of governance compared to one that provides most or all benefits only at the end. You may think of agile versus waterfall frameworks. When benefits are delivered continuously, the organization often undergoes ongoing changes, making it essential for governance to actively manage this change throughout the program's entire life cycle. Contracting. A program managed and staffed by employees of the benefits receiving organization may require a different level of governance, while a program delivered by an external party demands a distinct governance focus due to the need to manage the legal agreement. Risk of failure. The higher the perceived risk of program failure, the more closely the governance team is likely to monitor progress and success, often resulting in more frequent health checks and reduced delegation of decision making to the program team. Strategic importance. High value programs that are critical to the organization's success and plan to deliver benefits fully aligned with its strategy may require governance teams with different or more senior participants. This is natural, as this type of high visibility programs will require closer management follow up and faster decision making. Life cycle phase. The phase of the program life cycle also affects the governance framework, since the importance of various governance practices changes as the program advances. Therefore, the governance design should be adjusted promptly to align with the practices needed at each stage. Program Management Office. It's usual to find many project or program based organizations with one centralized program management office supports governance across all programs, while in other organizations, program management offices are established specifically for a specific program. Program funding structure. When program funding is external and the funding body requires a specific governance model to continue providing funds, this often impacts how the governance is designed and the skills needed to manage it. This can easily be imagined, especially with complex governmental programs that may need funding from an external entity, such as the World Bank. Alignment with portfolio and organizational governance. The governance framework is influenced by the portfolio governance it supports. How closely program governance should align with organizational governance depends on the number, type, and importance of its interactions with corporate groups. This alignment is usually most critical during the program definition stage when both the governance framework and the program are being developed. Finally, it's important to mention that optimizing a governance framework involves many factors to consider. After it's designed and established, it's critical to regularly check how well it's working and keep improving it over time. If you want to get more information about this topic, you may refer to one of the references used in developing this standard, Governance of Portfolios, Programs, and Projects, a perfect guide. Let's check now how governance framework interacts with different program management principles and performance domains. The governance framework performance domain interacts with the governance, change, and team of teams program management principles, as well as the benefits management, collaboration, strategic alignment, and stakeholder engagement performance domains. As we noted when we first introduced this performance domain a few weeks ago, the governance framework performance domain serves as the primary mechanism for overseeing a program's implementation, management, and performance. This is why we can see program governance covers all program lifecycle phases. By establishing practices that support the program and defining roles for all involved stakeholders, program managers achieve effective alignment with an organization's strategic and organizational goal. At its core, the governance framework performance domain focuses on designing a framework where lines of authority are clear, responsibilities and accountabilities for each position are defined, and decision-making levels are structured to enable the optimal delivery of the program and its components. Together, we covered what is the governance framework performance domain is, its defined practices and roles. This framework fosters a dynamic, synergistic network of relationships across products and processes, driving cohesive and efficient program execution. The governance framework performance domain accounts for 14% of the total PgMP exam questions. Make sure you thoroughly understand this domain and prepare yourself well if you plan to sit for the PMI exam. Feel free to drop me a question in the comments section or direct message me on LinkedIn. With this, we have completed the fourth performance domain out of the sixth program management performance domain. Another milestone locked in and another opportunity to celebrate. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do so. And if you have any questions or want to share your thoughts, leave a comment below and I will make sure to reply to each one. Until next time, take care.